What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video, I want to share with you a fascinating new interview that is going to prove once and for all that the XRP community has been right since day one in saying that the XRP token, the asset itself, can never be the security. This is a fascinating new interview that just dropped where this guy Rodrigo, who you see in the middle of the screen, breaks down why the XRP token can never be the security. Guys, this is such a critical interview. It is a fascinating discussion, and I think it's going to make you more confident than ever that there is no way the SEC is going to be successful in their absurd declaration that XRP itself is the security. This is an interview you are not going to want to miss. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoy videos just like this, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start out this video with some quick bullish cryptocurrency news, and that is Fidelity is preparing to file a spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, we have seen a flood of these Bitcoin ETFs, specifically spot ETFs, going to the SEC over the past 2 weeks, and ultimately this is extremely bullish in proving one thing. These large banks, these large investment firms are not against cryptocurrencies like many people expected them to be. What we're seeing is a lot of these financial institutions, these traditional financial institutions, are actually looking to embrace the technology and looking to onboard more customers into this sector. Now, this is actually against what a lot of people thought was going to happen, but it turns out a lot of these big firms just want to make money, and at the end of the day, cryptocurrencies and blockchain innovation is going to make these companies more money. It's going to make them more efficient. It's going to give them new products to sell to their investors. And ultimately, it is just a massive vote of confidence for the market as a whole. We are so early to this asset class. The fact that we are actually here before these big firms are even offering these in a large scale way is extremely bullish. And eventually, we are going to get hit with a wall of money as the normies get into this industry. Ultimately, it's a massive vote of confidence for me. It really shows that although this industry is getting a lot of pushback, it might not be as much pushback as many people expected. Yes, obviously, we have portions of the US government coming at crypto's throat, but it looks like a lot of the big institutions that people thought were going to be against us might actually be on our side. So definitely an interesting piece of news, and these past 2 weeks have been eye-opening for what these big investment firms really think of the cryptocurrency industry. So now I want to move on and talk about a fascinating interview that just dropped. And before I play the interview, I quickly want to break down who's talking here because it will give you a better understanding once I play the clip. So this guy in the middle, Rodrigo, he is actually special counsel for a company called Paradigm. Essentially, he's a lawyer, and he's going to be taking the side of crypto in this debate you're about to see. The guy on the right, Aaron Kaplan, is actually the co-founder of a company called Prometheum. Now, if you don't know anything about Prometheum, this has been a hotly discussed company over the past week. This guy, Aaron, actually went in front of Congress, the guy on the right, and said every single cryptocurrency is a security. Now, the reason he is saying that is because he is trying to set up a cryptocurrency exchange that trades these tokens as securities. So essentially, he's talking his own book. Now, the funny thing going on right now is he actually got a license from Gary Gensler and the SEC to trade crypto securities. Now, the funny thing about that is there are no cryptocurrency securities, so his business right now is trading absolutely nothing. Cryptocurrencies technically aren't securities, so even if he wants them to be cryptocurrency securities, the fact of the matter is there's no clarity in the market, so he still can't trade these assets. So I want to play you this clip now because what you're going to see is these two kind of debating on what the status of these tokens are, and I think you guys are going to find what Rodrigo has to say here is what the XRP community has been saying for the last 2 years, and this guy is no XRP community member. He is completely uninvolved in the XRP community, but what he says perfectly reflects the points we have been making for the past 2 years, and I think it just shows more than anything that we have been spot on this entire time, and the XRP community is one of the most brilliant communities out there. Listen up to this.
The reason the SEC has basically said that almost every token besides for Bitcoin is a security is because it's an application of the law.
I think what you're referring to there are, Gensler's statements about this. And as I'm sure you know, and Laura's audience will know, Gensler's statements do not even speak formally for the SEC, and they definitely don't have the force of law, right?
But
And
then
this
you
is
want to
somebody
use
who
those
has,
statements.
please
You want
let
to
me
use the
finish,
Hinman
right?
statements. You want to say the Hinman statements have the force of law, but the chairperson of the SEC doesn't. It doesn't have a larger implication than what a head of corporate finance says. You're basically contradicting yourself, man.
I didn't bring up the Hinman statements at all, actually. And the one that's contradicted himself is Gensler. We've all listened to the videos where he argues that a lot of the tokens are not securities, and now he's turning around and saying that they are, right? And just to be clear, the law hasn't changed. It's just Gensler's political calculus that has changed. And I think if you drill down on the law, there's two important nuances that you need to understand. You can sell any asset in an investment contract transaction, and then that transaction or scheme is itself a security, right? That's going back to Howey, the seminal case interpreting investment contracts, where a court found that a promoter that was selling interest in an orange grove along with a services contract was issuing a security. But no one in their right mind would think that the orange plots were themselves securities, right? So I think the first step that you're missing, Aaron, is distinguishing between an investment contract and the ultimate object. In this
The
case,
instrument
the
is the
tokens.
security.
In this case, the tokens, right? And I
The
think the
tokens are the
second point
security.
the second point that you're missing, Aaron, is that there's zero precedent applying Howey to secondary market transactions, right? Uh, in the case of digital assets, if you go outside of digital assets, the only case to ever apply Howey to secondary markets is Hawking versus Du Bois, which is a case dealing with real estate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one, but it's curious that the SEC in that case actually wrote an amicus brief arguing the diametrically opposed point that Aaron is making and that the SEC is now making, saying that basically in secondary market transactions where there's not an issue, the issuer is not a party to the transaction, there's no contract. So then there can be no investment contract, right?
So, Rodrigo, we're not going to agree on the law because we just obviously
Because
have
you're
different
wrong.
Okay, yeah.
interpretations. Wait,
So
wait, wait. But then what is the best way to protect the American public? How is the best way to protect investors?
I think the best way to protect American investors and also keep crypto in the US is to carefully consider the thoughtful legislation that has been introduced in the House and in the Senate, and that frankly, you're looking to distract from by claiming that we've solved this issue by saying that Prometheum is the path to compliance, when what you have, Aaron, is a license, but you don't have a business.
So I thought that was an excellent clip from that interview. That guy, Aaron Kaplan, got absolutely smoked right there. It wasn't even close. But I think what we need to take away from that is if you have been watching this channel for the past 2 years, this is what I have been saying since day one. You separate the sale of an asset from the asset itself. You can sell XRP like a security, and if that was the SEC's only argument, I might even agree with them. Yes, maybe in the past there were some sales of XRP that constituted a securities transaction, but the SEC made the absurd declaration in this case that XRP itself is a security, even secondary market transactions, and there is not a single case in history that would point to that being correct. In fact, the SEC is so wrong on this issue. When they declared that XRP itself was a security in this case, they never even put a footnote. Typically, when you make a claim like that in a court case, you put a footnote next to the claim to show, hey, this is where I'm getting this logic from. The SEC did not put a footnote because there was no support for that claim. They were making something up out of thin air and just hoping the judge would take their side. Luckily for us, though, we have a judge who is not going to do that. She is going to apply the law in a fair way, and I think that means maybe Ripple gets dinged for a couple early sales, but at the end of the day, there is no way, there is nothing anyone can point to that shows that XRP itself is the security. Overall, I think this was just a great breakdown of all those points, and one of my favorite parts about all of this is this guy Rodrigo isn't even an XRP holder. He's not in the XRP community. So it just shows that what we're saying is not some novel idea, and we're not just making it up because XRP is in the position it is in. We are saying facts, and we are saying the SEC is not on the right side of the law here. Ripple has been on the right side of the law since day one. That is what Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati have been telling us, and it is starting to look more true than ever. And I thought the finishing statement in this video was just fantastic. When he tells Aaron Kaplan that he has a license and not a business, the funny thing about that is perfectly spot on. This guy, Aaron, who runs Prometheum, I know you have never heard of Prometheum because it's not a real business. He has some inside deal with the SEC where he was able to get some random license to sell crypto securities, but against everything he is saying, where he is saying, oh, it's clear as day, all these assets are securities, he can't even trade the tokens because there is no clarity around the tokens. He wants to pretend like it's all super clear these tokens are securities. Sounds like someone else we know, Gary Gensler, but at the end of the day, if it actually was clear, he would be trading the assets. He can't because it's not. He is in the same position as everyone else. He is just trying to take the opposite side in case there's an off chance where the SEC actually wins this battle and these tokens are declared a security. He wants to be that person who swoops up and say, oh, we can trade these. I think he's going to fail miserably. He's already alienated the entire community, and Rodrigo just plastered him right here in this interview. And overall, I just thought it was absolutely amazing. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It's really going to help me out so much. And for now, Mickle out.